So yes, especially with 10 days to prepare, we have full confidence that Teddy can get the job done. Guess that's about it. Any questions? Jimmy.
Thanks, Coach. How's Tua doing?
Oh, he's good. He's in great spirits.
That's great to hear. Is he doing anything football related?
Oh, you bet. So far, he's made it through, remember, the Titans, Little Giants, and when I left, he was trying to make it through the Waterboy. Full transparency, I do believe he was having some trouble with the plot twists.
So you said he got out of the hospital and flew home with the team. When did you start to realize that there might be a problem?
Well, on the flight home, me and Tua were watching MacGruber together, and he was laughing through the entire movie. That's when I realized that there was a problem.
Coach, is there any truth to the rumors that ownership paid off the doctors to let Tua play?
Thanks, Jimmy. I'm glad I get the chance to clear up this horrible rumor. Once and for all, there's no truth to the fact that the ownership bought off the doc by giving him a 290-foot Illusion Plus yacht with twin Mercedes-Benz diesel engines, 8 staterooms, a movie theater, and twin hot tubs. See, that's exactly how these kind of crazy rumors get started. So I think that's about it for today, everybody. Tua's going to be fine. I'm about to go check on him right now. We're going to watch The Longest Yard together. The Burt Reynolds one. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm Rocky Foré. You're watching Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the rise of the greatest American sports betting show in the world. As always, with me, the Steamroller. How you doing, Steamroller?
I'm living the dream, Rocky. How about you, buddy? Every day good in Rocky Land, I assume.
Every day is great in Rocky Land.
So this is our 5th show. Have you enjoyed it so far? You having fun?
Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm getting used to it, watching some more games. I think I'm getting better at this whole betting thing. It's been fun.
Outstanding. You're getting in what way are you getting better at betting?
Oh, I know that what the team names mean now.
Solid.
Yeah, like I learned that the Texans are called the Texans because they're from Texas.
Wow, that probably took some deep diving on your part, huh?
It did. I know that the Bills are named the Bills because a guy named Bill decided that he wanted to own the team.
Don't believe that's accurate, Rock.
Check my sources.
Speaking of betting on football, I know we've got some good football bettors out there, and I appreciate you guys stopping by to watch our 5th installment of Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the rise of the greatest sports betting show in the world. Please take a moment to like. If you haven't subscribed to the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel, please do that as well. And of course, we want to hear your comments. We want to know what you're playing, and we've incentivized you to do that. By the time you're watching this, you probably watched our first live drawing as we gave away a $100 gift card absolutely live to everybody that commented. To one of the people that commented. We did a drawing. Not everybody. Don't get excited. It's not the easiest money-making scam in the world. However, if you were able to comment, you went into a drawing, somebody won a $100 gift card. We're going to do it again. So make sure you drop your comment. Don't just say yo or drop a letter or something like that. Make it an actual comment. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you don't like about the show. Tell us what you're playing this week, et cetera, et cetera. We'll do a live drawing the next Thursday. In other words, on a week from the day this drops, we'll do a live drawing in the afternoon. Rocky and I will be right here on your very computer live doing a drawing. Somebody gets a $100 gift card. So please comment. There you go. And we've got 3 great handicappers today and Rocky. So if you want to get some premium picks from the cappers that you see today or some of the other great handicappers at winnersandwhiners.com, we have a great deal for you. 50% off any of the handicappers just for watching our video here today. Got to use the code LVFIFTYOFF. That's LV50 off. Plug that code in. Your discount will be set. Of course, that is going to be in the show description as well as the link that'll take you right there. Whew. Okay. What do you think, Rock? Ready to do those promos next week?
I'm ready.
Okay. Guys, as I mentioned, we've got some great handicappers. You guys have seen these guys before. You've seen them appear with me on various live shows that we've done at the Winners and Whiners Network. I'm very, very proud to call both of them not just good handicappers, but friends of mine. And let's start off in the blue corner, if we will. He's the gruff, no nonsense, take no prisoners, no holds barred, ex-drill sergeant, get off my lawn. I don't know. I got nothing else. It's Chris King, everybody, the king of all parlays. What's up, Chris?
Good to see you, Scott. Rocky, you've been working on those push-ups?
Nope.
Well, guess what? We're gonna fix that because every time you pick or have a stupid comment, you owe me another 10.
Whoo! He's going to have arms like
10?
Popeye.
Yeah, 10.
Like
Like 1
full
0.
push-ups?
Yeah,
Oh no.
you'll be the next. You'll be Hulk Hogan in no time without the steroids.
Hey, you know what? This is why I have you on the show, Chris. You always help me improve.
Somebody's got to because Steen's not doing it.
No, I'm not. I'm doing 20 push-ups on the installment plan. So
Yeah, that's why you still owe 30.
Hey, let's bring on our next guy, the king of Long Island, if you will. Now the king of Brooklyn, right? Right.
Yep, that's right.
You know him, you love him. He's a fine handicapper, despite the fact that he's like 12 years old. Mm-hmm. He's again a good friend of mine. When's the last time you did 30 push-ups, Reichel?
It's been a while. I'll tell you what. On the bright side, since I did have a show with Chris, I didn't make many dumb comments, so I didn't owe him any.
Good point. It is Scott Reichel, everybody. Of course, make sure you check out Scott and I giving our take on the college slate. We do that each and every Friday afternoon, and it drops about, somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 p.m. Eastern time, so keep your eye out for that. But for now, we're going to talk about NFL. Got a Thursday night game and everything. Everybody ready to rock and roll? Rocky, you ready?
Sure am.
The new king gets to see this one. It's going to be the Giants and the Packers. Packers designated home squad -9.5, 41.5. You know, the worries me about this Packers team is they struggled to stop the New England run game when they knew the Pats were going to run because Bailey Zappi was in there for most of the game. Just because they knew it was coming didn't mean they can stop it. If you can't stop the run and you're going to play against the Giants with a limited quarterback or a new quarterback who's going to be leaning on Saquon, I don't know, man. I think 9.5 is too many. I'm going to take the Giants to beat the number here.
For me, I'm going to go with the under. It's a very low total, but I think it's warranted. Just to put it into perspective here, you mentioned how Daniel Jones might be limited. He has an ankle issue. Tyrod has a concussion. They were working out quarterbacks on Tuesday, including Jake Fromm. Now, if you're bringing Jake Fromm into the building, I know that Chris's team drafted him. It means your quarterback situation is not great. So I do think that the Giants are going to struggle offensively. Green Bay's defense is still really good. I still think that the pass rush is very solid. I think that the secondary, I'm not sure if Alexander is going to play in this game or not, but Green Bay's offense, not very good. And I think that's definitely been an underrated storyline in the life without Devontae Adams. I'm expecting a low-scoring game. I think it'll be ugly. I think Green Bay probably wins, but I'm going to go with the under. I'll dare the Giants to get to 14 in this game. I'm not sure they score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's going to be a really rough game for the Giants. Like you said, Jones and Taylor probably won't play, so it's probably going to be Webb called up from the practice squad. The thing with Fromm is the Giants picked him up last year after Buffalo, or they pulled him off the practice squad from Buffalo. So he's at least been in the system. And at least Daboll, he's familiar with Daboll's system. The problem is, I agree with Scott. There's too many points being laid here for a Green Bay team that struggled to do much against New England, and the Giants can run the ball. I think Barkley's probably going to get 35 touches until his legs fall off, and that'll keep him in the game. I'm going to take the Giants with the points, but it's not going to be one of those entertaining games to watch by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, the good thing for me is that game starts at 6:30 in the morning. So I can wake up, catch the fourth quarter, and see what happens. But I feel like if it doesn't matter who's quarterback for the New York Giants, as long as Saquon gets his 30 touches, limits the Packers' offensive drives, I like the Giants. How'd you like that? Did that sound smart?
I think we're all just sitting here in stunned silence. That actually sounded like a real handicap of a football game.
Yeah, the rationale actually sounded kind of logical there. I got thrown for a loop. Someone feeding you information in your ear?
No, I've started reading PFF. I have not subscribed, so I get about 3 sentences per article. But
do you know how to spell PFF?
I think it's a PH.
Don't hurt yourself. Do you know what it stands for?
Yes, it stands for probably fantasy football.
Absolutely correct. Very good.
It's like Hollywood Henderson when he used to say Terry Bradshaw couldn't spell cat if he spelled it on the C and the A.
Still a funny line. I don't care what you say. All right, next up on the slate is the Seahawks and the Saints down there in New Orleans. Saints 5.5-point favorite, 45.5 is the number. Now, this is another game where we have to keep an eye on the injury report because we don't know the status of arguably the two most important players on the Saints offense, Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. Even if they both play, I don't really care. I don't really think this New Orleans team is 5.5 points better than anybody right now. They've been nothing but a disappointment on both sides of the ball. Seahawks and Geno Smith, well, they've both been better than expected. Give me the Seahawks plus the 5.5 right here.
I'm going to stick with totals here. I do agree with your Seahawks lean, but I'm going to go with the over in this one. There has been a lot of line movement on the over. I think it's warranted. Andy Dalton didn't look that bad in London in the last week against Minnesota, and Geno Smith has looked good. If you want to hear a scary thought, Geno has arguably been the best quarterback in that division up to this point this season, which is a really scary thought, but it might be true. Either way, Seattle's a great over team because offensively, they're actually not that bad. Defensively, they're a train wreck, as we saw them and the Lions combined for 93 points. But I do think you're going to end up seeing a higher scoring game. I think Dalton's good enough to pick apart the secondary. Olave's progressed quite nicely. I think he's a good player. And Kamara, maybe he'll play. He was a last-second scratch, which killed fantasy lineups all over the country last week. But still, I do think both defenses leave a lot to be desired. Jefferson went for 150-plus against the Saints. I think Metcalf could have a good game. Give me the over.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Steehn. I think that the Saints aren't 5.5 points better than anyone that plays in the National Football League. Might be better than a couple teams in the CFL by that margin. But let's face it, we're talking about a Saints team that couldn't beat Carolina. They couldn't beat Minnesota. They couldn't beat Tampa Bay. Seattle, they scored a truckload of points. They give up a ton of points. But hey, I'm going to ride with the Seahawks here until Geno Smith returns to form. It should be coming up on Halloween soon, so the pumpkin's coming. But today, I'll take the Seahawks Sunday with the points over New Orleans.
I'm going to go Seahawks too because, once again, as I said, Jameis Winston proved me wrong. I think that starting Andy Dalton is even worse than starting Jameis Winston. And there's nothing to like about the Saints team except for Chris Olave.
All right, very solid. All right, let's talk about the Jaguars at home hosting the Texans. Another pillow fight there in the AFC South. Jaguars, a full touchdown favorite, -7. 44.5 is the total. You know, the thing I've been most impressed about is this Jags defense that went from 28th to 4th in scoring defense from last year to this year. And they whooped a couple of what were supposed to be pretty good teams, the Chargers and the Colts. Beat them by a total of 52 points, kids. Turnovers doomed this team against Philly. But as you saw, if you watched that game, the conditions were awful. You know, throw that result right out the window. They played that game pretty tight, and I think they played well against one of the best teams in the NFC. Defense, 4th in takeaways, and they're 4th in turnover margin as a whole. Texans, maybe at home, not on the road. Give me the Jaguars -7.
For me, I think this one's a coin flip, but I'm going to take the points since I do think it is a coin flip. At the end of the day, Jacksonville, I get that they're an improved team.
Wait. You say a coin flip. You mean with the points or
with
that
the
these
points?
two teams
With
are
the
equal?
points. I don't
Okay.
mean the actual money line. I mean the points.
Okay.
I think 7 sounds about right. So I'm going to take the points. When was the last time Jacksonville was favored by like 7 points? Brunell was the quarterback, probably.
Probably so.
So I think that Houston, they've been good in the series in the past, but Jacksonville's a dumpster fire, so I'm not sure if that really means much. But Houston hung around against the Chargers. I think that offensively they're okay. Defensively, Houston's actually been okay as well. I think that Jacksonville probably win. It might land exactly 7. I'm going to take the points, though. It's a division game. I think the Texans hang around. Maybe I need to see a bigger sample size from Jacksonville before I start willingly laying over a touchdown. But I'm going to go with Houston. I think that Jacksonville probably wins by 4, something like that.
I think Jacksonville is going to learn from their mistakes against Philadelphia. Yeah, the weather was bad. They turned it over 57 times. They also had the ball run down their throat because Philadelphia ran the ball 50 times for 210 yards. We're not going to see Houston do that. Sure, Dameon Pierce had a good game against the Chargers. The Chargers were also missing, 17 guys?
From a terrible run defense to start with.
Right. Houston's not that great a team. Mills doesn't have a ton of weapons. I can't see them covering the line here. I think Jacksonville will win to get back on track, especially playing at home. I need to see more from the Texans.
I'm with all of you. I don't like taking either team because I like them both so much. That's why I'm taking the Texans. Really? The Texans? Oh, come on. It's not like the Jaguars are any better. Trevor Lawrence has really proven himself. Who? And Dameon Pierce isn't. I don't know who that is. That's why you took Alvin Kamara in fantasy. Still living like it's 2018 AD. Hey, Annihilation was a good movie. The ending made no sense. Guys, calm down. Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson were hot. That's all that matters. Rocky, I just feel like you should be making smarter decisions when it comes to your money. You got lots of money. Who cares if you pick wrong every so often? I do. Yeah, but you don't know anything. I know stuff. Name one thing you know. Exposing yourself in a pool in Dubai is bad. Okay, you got me there. Guys, enough about Antonio Brown. Is it a bad idea to take the Texans? Look, as the devil, I'm rooting for you to fail. So, yeah. And as your angel, who also happens to be the Pope, I want nothing but the best for you. So yes. So I should take the Texans? Sure. Hell if I know. I'm taking the Jags. Damn it.
All right, guys, that's it for the first block of 4 games. Everybody hang tight. We're going to be right back after these messages. But first, if you haven't had an opportunity to get over there and like and subscribe, please do that. Make sure you comment. And check out my premium plays. We had a fantastic month of September, and we're right on into October, ready for meaningful baseball, ready for some college games. And, of course, we're going to have hockey and basketball starting up. October, it is the most wonderful time of the year. Great time to get my premium plays. Don't forget to use the code LV50OFF. You'll get 50% off of all of those plays. All right? Hang tight. We'll be right back after these quick messages.
The new Infiniti QX60 is totally my style. This is hot. She rich. She rich. Wow, look at all this space. It's fantastic.
Miss Andrews, that was great. You just mispronounced the word fantastic.
What did I say?
You said fantastic.
Okay, I got this.
Aaron Andrews, Infinity commercial, take 2.
Wow, look at all this space. It's fantastic. Wow, look at all this space. It's fantastic. Wow, look at all this space. It's blamflastic. It's flansmastic. It's flanslastic. It's flamastic. Wow, will you look at this boat? It's fantastic.
Oh, that was so close. You said fantastic, but it's a car, not a boat.
I got this. Wow, look at all this space. It's plastic. It's blasspastic. Wow, look at all this space. It's
fantastic.
The all-new extended. Damn it, now I'm doing it.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We continue on. We do the slog here. This one appears to be a mismatch on paper as the Steelers head to Orchard Park, take on the Bills. Bills 14-point favorites. 47 is the number. Well, congratulations, everybody that wanted it, because the Kenny Pickett era has almost certainly arrived in Pittsburgh. Had a couple of rushing touchdowns through 3 picks against the Jets, but that was kind of misleading. 2 of them went off the hands of his receivers. Now, they weren't great passes. One was a little high, one was a little short, but the receivers could have reeled both of them in. And, of course, the third one was a Hail Mary to end the game. I think this is a quarterback that gets the team excited. I think they like playing for him. And there are 2 wild cards in this game. Does Pickett actually get the start? I think he does. The other wild card is what's going to be with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Is he going to be healthy enough to start? If that is the case, I like this Steelers team. The Bills look great early. They kind of played with their food over the last 2 games, going just 1-1. 2 of Pittsburgh's 3 losses have come by 4 points or less. I'll take the Steelers in the 2 touchdowns right here.
So normally in the NFL, I tend to lean to the double-digit point underdogs. I'm not doing it here. I'm going to take Buffalo. I think the Steelers stink. And with TJ Watt, they haven't won a game yet, ever. I believe they're 0-8 now when he has not played. But Buffalo, yes, they did struggle the last 2 weeks offensively. The problem with that kind of breakdown is the fact that they were both on the road. And Buffalo's played 1 home game this season. They scored 41 points, and they beat Tennessee by 34. I think the Steelers are just awful. I don't think they do anything well. They can't pass protect. The defense is falling apart with Watt not being there. And I think it's a little bit of a revenge angle there, because I'm sure Chris is about to talk about the fact that Buffalo somehow blew a game to the Steelers earlier last year that they should have won. I think that this game is kind of circled a little bit, but mostly because it's a home game. Give me the broken tables. I'll take the Bills to win this game by 20 plus. I think they crush it.
Yeah, it was week 1 last year where Pittsburgh came into Buffalo, won 23-16, mainly on the strength of a blocked punt. Well, Matt Hack's not there anymore. He's punting for Indianapolis. So we don't have that issue. We actually have a guy that can kick the ball. To Steen's point, you just credited Jacksonville for hanging tough in the elements. Buffalo came back from 17 down and beat a Baltimore team in Baltimore in those same elements. You can't have it both ways. Buffalo's 8-2-2 in their last 12 against the spread as a double-digit favorite. Pittsburgh is terrible. Buffalo's getting healthier. You're probably going to see Ed Oliver back this week. You're going to see Jordan Phillips back this week. That's going to bolster that defensive line. Like Scott Reichel said, Pittsburgh can't block for the pass. They can't run the ball. Buffalo's going to win this game in a romp, and it's not even going to be close after the opening kickoff.
Yeah, I was just looking at the points are 47. I think that the Bills will do most of that themselves. And all you need is two field goals from the Steelers, probably, which I think they could do. But the Bills' defense is very good, and I don't think that Kenny Pickett is ready to play in the National Football League yet. It still should have been Trubisky. Go on the Bills.
And breaking news, Pickett is at the top of the depth chart for Pittsburgh now.
Yeah, I saw that, but he still won't confirm that he's starting. But it looks like he's going to start. So,
well, let's face it,
Pittsburgh's
on the baton death march if you start him right now, because they got Buffalo, they get Tampa Bay, they've got Miami, and they've got Philadelphia the next 4 weeks before the bye. They could be 1-7.
We'll find out what they got. All right, moving to the NFC South. The Falcons travel to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers -9. 48 is the total. To me, guys, the Falcons are a lot like the 2021 Lions. Well, and the 2022 Lions. They don't win a ton, but they're entertaining. They never quit. And they almost always beat the number. In fact, they've done it all 4 games this year. Patterson is out, but I'm not sure that I trust this Tampa Bay team. Running game is really struggling. We talked about that before the show, as they ran just 6 times for 3 yards against the Chiefs. Sure, they put up 31 against KC, but Brady went for 380 plus. The Chiefs were playing a lot looser, a lot more shells once they went up by 3 scores. I think that's too many points. I'll take the dog again. I could be out on the island once again. Give me the Falcons +9.
First of all, I like how you compared the Falcons from this year to the Lions from last year, because I did that 2 weeks ago. So I'm glad we see eye to eye on that one. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. I think they're going to crush this team. I think Tampa had a really bad performance from the defense. I think they'll bounce back. I can't look past the fact that Mariota completed 7 passes against Cleveland indoors. And we saw Cleveland's pass defense get torched by Joe Flacco, of all people, a couple of weeks ago. Plus Cordarrelle, now on the IR. He's been probably the most valuable weapon offensively since they just refused to throw the ball to Pitts. But Buccaneers, awful loss, still at home. I think they're going to be ready to go. I think they're going to crush Atlanta. I can't look past the 7 completed passes. Just Atlanta is now missing its starting running back. Tampa should be very motivated. They got Evans back. They still have Godwin. They have a lot of weapons. Atlanta's defense isn't good. I'm taking Tampa. I think they're going to win this game by at least 10, probably closer to 17.
Well, but here's the thing. Do you know why Atlanta only completed 7 passes? Because they ran for 200-plus yards.
Yeah, but they're missing their starting running back.
Doesn't matter. Algier had 84 yards in that game.
Just saying.
Caleb Huntley had 56 and a score. The Falcons can actually move the ball on the ground. Mariota is mobile. We know Brady isn't. I don't trust Tampa Bay. Fournette had 127 rushing yards in the opener against Dallas. In the last 3 games, he's got 97 yards combined. Sure, they've got their receivers back. That doesn't mean anything. A.J. Terrell's a very good corner. Casey Hayward is underrated. I don't see the Tampa Bay blowing anybody out. Their offensive line is still in shambles. I'll take the points in the Falcons here because the Bucs have to show me that they're the team that won or that can go deep in the playoffs like they had the last couple of years. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Bucs.
Let's go. Big.
Okay.
That was good commentary.
Was there anything that
Thank
convinced you, or did you just flip a coin in your head?
Yeah, I want to say I think it's been a long time since Tom Brady has had back-to-back losses. I don't know if he could do back-to-back losses.
All right. Solid.
So he's due.
Solid.
There you
Oh,
go.
they have. All right, let's turn to the NFC North. The Bears travel to the Crystal Ship to take on the Vikings. Vikings 7-point favorites at home. 44 is the number. I like this Minnesota team coming into the season. They're 3-1 so far, but I don't know what they're good at. They're 17th in total offense. They're 20th in total defense. Their run defense is below average, and they've averaged. They've got Herbert, who's averaged he's averaged 6.1 yards per carry. For the Bears, I think they might have found something there with Khalil Herbert. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against the Vikings. I have to tell you, I hate to bet both of these teams. They're both terrible against the number. Bears 1-2-1 against spread, and Minnesota's 1-3. Something's got to give, and I think it's probably going to be the Vikings. I think both of these numbers are probably pretty close. I'm going to lean towards the Bears. Keep an eye on it. If I can get it at 7.5, I will jump in with both feet with Chicago. But right now, I'll take the Bears in small lean plus the 7.
Well, I agree with Steamroller. I don't want to back either team, so I'm not going to. I'm going to take the under instead because I do think Chicago's going to try to run the ball. We know for a fact that Fields either he can't throw or the coaches won't let him throw. So they're going to run the ball about 80% of the time. But Chicago's defense has always given Kirk Cousins problems. Now, thankfully, it's not a Monday night game because we've seen Cousins on Monday night against the Bears and some of the worst football of all time. But the point is, I do think that both defenses can do enough to limit the opposing offenses. The Vikings also traveling back from London. Might be a little bit of jet lag there, maybe for the offense, a bit of a slow start. I'm going with the under, though, because I'm really not sure how the Bears can generate big plays. And defensively, they're still a pretty decent unit. So I'm going to go with the under. I think this number's a little bit too high.
I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I just watched the Bears. I had to slug through that game because it was one of the games that they actually televised here for some ungodly reason. And I had to watch the Bears end up with 12 points because, like you said, Fields either can't or won't throw the ball. They're not going to be able to move the ball with any kind of precision. If they fall behind by a couple scores, they're going to have to abandon the run game. Who's going to stop Justin Jefferson? Dalvin Cook is healthy now, reportedly. Even so, they still got Alexander Madison in there, and I'll take Kirk Cousins over Justin Fields at this point. And like you said, it's not a primetime game, so Cousins playing at home, I'll give the points. I'll take the Vikings.
Look, I'll be the one to throw a little more support onto Justin Fields. A lot of people aren't giving him much credit because Justin Fields is breaking all sorts of pre-forward pass records.
What?
He is blowing them out of the water. But I got to go with the Vikings.
I think he's completed more passes than Bronco Nagurski now.
You're talking about the pre-forward pass era in football?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at statistically quarterbacks passing yards, but only look at the quarterback's pre-forward pass, he is number one.
By a wide margin, actually.
By a wide margin.
Yeah.
So, that might...
How does he look post-forward pass era?
I don't want to look into that. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I
didn't bring it up.
Yeah. I don't want to be the guy that people are like, you're cherry-picking stats, but that's one that I think makes sense.
Sure, that's solid logic. That's good to see the old Rock back. Hey, let's talk about the Titans and the Commanders, because somebody has to. Titans are on the road, 2.5-point favorites, 42.5 is the number. Don't look now, guys, but Derrick Henry might have found just a little bit of his old mojo last week. Went for over 100 yards against the Colts and averaged over 5 yards per carry. Both of those were first time this season. Now he gets a defense that's not nearly as good as the Colts. That Washington Commanders defense is bottom 5 all day long. I think this is a fantastic price on Tennessee. I expected to see it go up. I wouldn't be surprised to see 3.5, 4 by game time. I will gobble it up at 2.5. Give me the Titans.
Yeah, I agree. You can argue that this is the trappiest line of the week. I don't really care. I think Washington is a bottom 5 team in the entire league. Wentz is going to get benched at some point. He doesn't have it. Like, they traded for him. They shouldn't have. It's not going to work out. But you're looking at what else Washington does at all, even remotely well. They have a couple of okay wide receivers. I mean, McLaurin's pretty good. Dotson's okay, but your quarterback stinks. That doesn't really matter. Can you run the ball? Not really. Gibson's barely getting half the snaps at this point, and the backups aren't great either. Are they good defensively? Not really. They can't stop the pass. Other than that, though, they're fine. But they can't really do anything. So I'm going to go with Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's a good team, but they're good enough. They're not going to beat themselves. Henry will do his thing. Woods might end up having a solid game. The issue is Burks might be hurt, so that could be a little bit of a concern for Tennessee, but they're the more consistent team. I don't trust Washington at all, and they don't have a great home field anyway. Nobody goes to their games. So give me Tennessee. I think they'll win the game by at least a field goal.
I think Tennessee wins this one probably by double digits. We've seen Washington. They did nothing last week against Dallas. Like you said, Derrick Henry had a good game running the football. Wentz is, well, he may not have it. He doesn't have an offensive line to block for him. You might as well just put up a bunch of tackling dummies for as well as they block for him. He got sacked 9 times by Philadelphia. He got knocked senseless by Dallas. Tennessee doesn't have the kind of pass rush that those teams do, but still, he's got to be gun shy at this point. He doesn't have enough time to take 3 steps before he's getting hit. Tennessee's going to win this one easily. You can't trust the Commanders. I'm used to calling them the football team after the last couple of years, but I don't even think they qualify for that name at this point. Last weekend, I cleaned up in college and the pros, in addition to hitting several 4-teamers on the parlay side of things. And if you use the promo code LV50OFF, you can save 50% off any of my colleagues' packages. That's at winnersandwhiners.com under the Expert Handicapper site. So check it out today. Save yourself some money as we go and clean up through the month of October.
I'm going to take the Titans for every reason stated above, but I'm going to go into something bigger. Chris has mentioned Halloween already a few times, so I'm going to throw something out there. Halloween morning, October 31st, Ron Rivera will no longer be with the Commanders after a blowout loss to the Colts. I hate to see it. I love Ron Rivera, but he's going to be the first coach to go.
I actually don't mind that prediction. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I've heard worse predictions, I'll tell you that much. That's not bad.
That's a good Rockies Prappy for you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your court-ordered driver training class. Is there a Mr. Garrett here?
Yeah, you can call me Miles.
Well, Mr. Garrett, glad to have you here. My name is Mr. Brown, and I will be your instructor. Do you know why you're here, Mr. Garrett?
I was doing 65 and a 45.
Is that all? I'm so sorry, Mr. Garrett. I'm hard of hearing. Can you repeat that?
I said I flipped my car.
Wow, it sounds like you're lucky to be alive on this earth.
Oh yeah, and I've definitely changed my ways. So are we done? You guys validate, right?
Mr. Garrett, let's be very clear. You are done when I say that you are done here, okay? Do you understand?
Wow, talking pretty big there, little man. You better watch your tone.
Or what? Are you going to hit me with your helmet? Ha ha ha. Let's be clear here. I'm not some wuss from Stillwater. I did 27 years in the Corps, punk. I used to chew up and eat guys like you for breakfast, and then I would have them crapped out before lunch.
Okay, man, chill.
Oh, I am chill. I'm as chill as they come. Okay, let's start. What does a green light mean?
Punch it.
Okay, what about a yellow one?
Punch it.
Okay, and what about a red light?
Punch it hard.
Are you sure about that one?
Punch it hard and then look for cops.
Okay, we have some work to do. What does this sign here mean?
That one means someone's trying to come into my lane.
Yes, very, very good, Mr. Garrett. And what should you do if someone is trying to come into your lane?
Punch it and get past them.
I hope you don't have any plans this afternoon.
Well, I'm supposed to be at the Porsche dealership in 15 minutes.
But it's going to take at least 25 minutes for you to get there. So mathematically, that's not a... Wait a minute. Were you going to say... You were going to say punch it, weren't you?
You read my mind.
Okay, Mr. Garrett, at this rate, you may still be in this class until after you've retired, all right? You've been cited numerous times going over 100 miles per hour, and you just rolled your car with an innocent young lady inside. Is that correct?
You don't know this girl. She's a lot of things, but innocent is not one of them.
Regardless, Mr. Garrett, I have no choice but to fail you in this class and recommend that your license be permanently revoked immediately.
That's pretty harsh. Oh, you like football? You want to take us to the Patriots game?
What section?
End zone.
Mr. Gray, I just really feel like I'm not getting into you. So no.
50-yard line.
You are making some progress, but no.
What about a pair of field passes?
You have made a remarkable comeback. Congratulations on passing your required class.
Hey, all right, much appreciated. I'll see you at the game. Do you want to need a ride? I can pick you up on the way.
No, I'm more than fine.
All right, punch it.
The score is 7-0 State on top of the visiting Tech. State has the ball deep in Tech's territory, looking to increase their lead.
We interrupt this program to bring you another live look at an Aaron Judge at bat.
Oh, come on!
Judge has already tied Roger Maris for the most home runs in a single season in American League history. Here he's going to get the chance to break that record.
We're still doing this? It was bad enough last week.
And he takes ball 4 for a walk.
Okay, all right, let's get us back to our game.
Never in my life have I ever seen a play quite like that. And with that, Tech takes a 14-7 lead over State.
What? We're behind now? How did that happen?
We interrupt this program to give you a live look at the tight National League race. The Phillies have a 3-1 lead over the Nationals here in Washington, D.C. in the 3rd inning.
I can't be serious with this. 3rd inning? Maybe it was the bottom of the 9th or something. But this is ridiculous.
Even if it was the bottom of the 9th, who cares? It's just baseball. This is an important game for State. I've been waiting all week for
this. And that pop-up will fall harmlessly into Roble's glove. And that will end the top of the 3rd.
Finally.
What an amazing 3 minutes of football. Just when you thought State was out of it, Tech comes up with yet another turnover. It is 35-28, Tech on top.
What?
How do we miss 6 touchdowns?
This is BS.
Tech is up 56-50. State has the ball at the 3-yard line. It is 3rd and goal. Clock down to 30 seconds now. Here's a snap.
Oh, come on!
We're now going to take you live to Denver, Colorado, where the Rockies are making a pitching change. That's right, for all of you keeping score at home, that is their 1,038th pitching change on the season, which we all know ties the record. So, we're going to keep you here, just in case they make another pitching change soon.
You've got to be kidding me.
All right, welcome back. Once again, you're watching Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas. Hey, if you want to make $100, why don't you comment on the video? Make a little comment on the bottom, like and subscribe as well while you're there. You know what? Why don't you? What was I talking about earlier? Where did a team get their name? Give me a comment about how a team got their name. Teach me something, and maybe you can win $100. All right, Steehn, what game we got next?
Hey, how about some AFC East action? In quotes, action. The Dolphins heading to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. Dolphins road to favorites of 3.5 points. 44 is your number right here. 2 is in. 2 is out. Teddy's in. You know what? The one that I worry about is the X-Man, the X Factor, Xavier Howard, nursing a groin injury. I need to see what his status is going to be. So that's another injury to keep an eye on. Neither one of these teams likes to run the football at all. Neither one has had a game where they've had 100 yards rushing. And neither one of these teams have a great defense. Only Baltimore gives up more passing yards than Miami. There's a little fun fact for you. I think the Jets, I think they're a little bit of a different team under Zach Wilson. I think they're an improved team, and I think they're going to be able to move the football more efficiently. I like the over here. Give me the over 44.
I think we're actually going to see, we're going to go head-to-head here. I actually kind of like the under in this spot. I think you're looking at 2 quarterbacks that I don't exactly trust to air it out. You're looking at Teddy Bridgewater, who is also a pretty decent checkdown magnet, but that's kind of what he is. And Zach Wilson, who was very good in the 4th quarter against Pittsburgh. The issue is he was awful for the first 3 quarters, and then he finally woke up. But Miami, yes, they might be a little bit shorthanded in the secondary. I do like the fact they played on Thursday, so they have a couple extra days off, maybe to get a couple of guys back. But Miami's receiving core with Hill and with Waddle, we know that they're a very solid tandem. You look at the Jets' corners, and Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed statistically have been the best cornerback tandem in the entire league. And it's not even close. They've actually just been incredible. I like the under. I'm going to dare Teddy Bridgewater and Zach Wilson to make enough big plays, big throws down the field. I don't think they'll do it. Plus, the coaches actually go back a long way. Both Saleh and McDaniel were on Kubiak's staff back in like 2007. So the coaches know each other. And I think that might bode well for the under. I'm going to go with the under.
To me, this comes down to one thing, and sadly, it comes down to something Rocky said a few weeks ago. Rocky, what was it you said about Zach Wilson?
He knows how to pick his women.
What else did you say about Zach Wilson?
He should have taken that mission to Venezuela instead of joining the NFL.
Didn't you say once that he didn't have that dog in him?
He didn't have that dog in him.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to for me here. The Jets, sure, they came back and beat Pittsburgh last week, but they got the win mainly because a rookie quarterback threw 3 interceptions, and 2 of them coming in the fourth quarter, where, like Steamroller said, they bounced off a guy's hands. Teddy Bridgewater's not going to give you those gifts. He's been around the league for an eternity, it seems. He's played for, 17 different teams. And with the receivers, I get that Reichel's all hyped up about Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. Guess what? Can they run with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Can they still cover Mike Gesicki? Can they deal with Chase Edmonds? I'm not sold on the Jets. Congratulations, you got a win over a backup quarterback who's now going to make his first career start and probably get murdered this week. I don't see them beating Teddy Bridgewater. As much as I hate the Dolphins, I have to go with them in this one.
Zach Wilson does not have that dog in him. You know who does? Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Two Gloves. If they've got some days to prepare, so if they can get Teddy ready and let him throw it, I like the Dolphins. But with the under, because I like the idea of 2 coaches who know each other button heads, like a classic 13-10 kind of game.
I think you're a button head sometimes. Okay. Let's move to the AFC. They're always adding new bowl games, and this year they've added one to the NFL. This is the Disappointment Bowl. Hard to see which of these teams has been more disappointing this season, Chargers or the Browns. Probably Chargers. And they're the favorites, 2.5-point favorites as they head to the Mistake by the Lake to take on the Browns. 47.5 is the number. This Chargers rush defense, I talked about it earlier. They are still dreadful. 31st in rush yards allowed at 5.4 yards per carry. The Browns, well, you might not be surprised by this fact that they lead the NFL in rushing by a lot. Is there a worse matchup for the Chargers? Maybe the 72 Dolphins, but in 2022, no, there is not a worse match for the Chargers. I like the Browns getting points at home. Gimme.
I'm going to take the over in this one. I know I've had a lot of totals, but I definitely see a high-scoring game here. I think both teams excel offensively in what the opposing team struggles at covering defensively. Because the Browns, I know last week they were decent against Mariota, but they gave up 300-plus yards to Flacco. In massive win conditions, Trubisky actually looked decent against this pass defense. I think Herbert's going to tear him to shreds. And I think if you want to look at what the Browns do well, as Steehn said before, they run the ball. And the Chargers can't stop the run. So I see a lot of points. I just think that both defenses, the Chargers are missing a lot of key players because they've been injured to hell and back, and Cleveland's secondary is not great. I just think you're going to see a shootout breakout. I think it'll be a close game. Do I think it could be a 28-24 final, something like that? Sure. But I see this game getting into the 50s. I'm going to take the over.
To Scott's point about looking at the injury report, one thing you're going to have to look at is, will Keenan Allen play this week? He's missed the last couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. That'll be a big factor for the Chargers. With that said, the Chargers hung 34 points last week against Houston, despite not having Allen. And Herbert picked apart that defensive secondary. Cleveland's secondary isn't any better. And while the Browns may like to run the ball, it's hard to run the ball when you're down by multiple scores. And if you can't shut down Mike Williams and Joshua Palmer and Austin Eckler, who had 3 scores last week, it's going to be tough sledding for the Browns. I'm going to take the Chargers on the road and give the points. I think they win by at least 3.
I like everything you guys are saying. I also am going to take the over with these teams. I don't know how much I trust Jacoby Brissett, quarterback, but I do like the Browns running offense. I don't have much to add after all of that, what you guys said. You kind of nailed it. So I'm taking the Chargers with the over. Because in this world, I think passing beats rushing if the other team's bad defense is.
I like how you said that all of us, nailed it, but Chris and Scott disagreed about the only thing they talked about.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like it's a toss-up because but everyone knows. Yeah, everyone all knows that the Chargers have a bad rush defense, but good passing offense, and then the Browns are the opposite. So I kind of think you're just kind of like which one do you want? You know?
Everything goes into the Rocky funnel. You crank that handle, and here comes the Rocky sausage coming out, man. That's all you can do. And there's your pick right there. Hey, it's the Lions and the Patriots. Patriots -3, 45.5 is the total. Well, kids, Detroit is first in scoring, and they are last in points allowed. They are 4-0 to the over. No Swift, no Amon-Ra St. Brown, no problem. Is it going to be Hoyer or Zappi for New England? Who cares? By the way, I've cashed a few Zappi over tickets when he was at Western Carolina. I don't know how I could not possibly respect myself if I didn't play the over here. Give me the Lions Patriots over 45.5.
I like the over as well. I know I've given out a lot of totals, but the Lions are king over at this point. They don't stop anybody. 93 points between Jared Goff and Geno Smith. 93. Like, I feel like you kind of have to like the over. The side's interesting. I'm actually going to lean to New England. New England showed some life against Green Bay, and maybe Green Bay is not very good. I think they're an overrated team, but still they hung around. And the main issue that you're going to run into, we know with a young quarterback, Belichick's main game plan, run the damn ball. And Detroit gave up 150-something yards and 2 touchdowns to Rashad Penny. I think that New England's going to make it easy on their quarterback. They're going to run the ball for a bunch of yards because Detroit can't stop it. I think they'll win. But I'm going to go with New England. First glance, it seems a little bit weird that Zappi's favored by 3. I think it's weird for a reason. I'm going to take New England.
Yeah, I've got to lean towards the over here, too. Normally, I don't mess with totals that much because they're so fickle. But like Scott said, Detroit's first in scoring, last in scoring defense. We watched them give up a truckload of points last week to a Seattle team that has no business scoring 48 points in a month, much less in one game. The good part is St. Brown might be back this week. He was almost cleared to play last week before they took him out. That would be a nice boost for the Lions. My question is, can the Patriots cover TJ Hawkinson? Because apparently Seattle forgot he was on the field most of the game last week. In the end, I still see the Lions putting up somewhere in the 20s. And if New England's going to beat them, they're going to have to score more than that. So it's going to end up over the number.
I like the Matt Patricia revenge game here. So I'm going New England with the over because that guy puts a pencil behind his ear, so he's got to be good at something.
Okay. All right. Very good. And moving on to the NFC, 49ers travel to Charlotte to take on the Panthers. Niners 6.5-point road favorites. 39 is your total here. Hey guys, you want to go broke betting on sports? Start laying 7 points on the road with the in the NFL. Having said that, I think it's a good play right here. San Francisco, they moved the ball at will against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday night. But what impressed me most about that team was their defense. Pass rush, if they weren't sacking Stafford, they were disrupting his rhythm all night long. I think Carolina is outclassed on both sides of the ball. 49ers, -6.5. I'll take it.
I agree with you. I'm going with the Niners -6.5. In the words of Niedermeyer from Animal House, you're all worthless and weak. That's how I feel about Carolina. This team's just awful offensively. They don't do anything. McCaffrey, we know, is a very good player. He did a lot in the passing game once the game was out of reach. Mayfield is such a lost cause with that team. They can't protect him. He turns the ball over a ton. We saw the Niners get after Stafford regularly on Monday Night Football. I don't think they're going to protect him. I don't think he's going to take care of the ball. And the Niners, even though I'm not a big Jimmy G guy, and I know Carolina's defense is okay, I think they'll be able to run the ball. They have some offensive balance. And I do think that Jimmy G can do a better job than Mayfield at limiting the mistakes. But with McAdoo calling plays, good luck with this defense. I'm going to take the Niners to win this game in a very ugly type of 24-10 game. Give me the Niners.
Yeah, fun stat about Matt Rule and his time in Carolina. When the opponent scores at least 17 points, Matt Rule 1-26, 5-22 against the spread in that stretch. I don't see the Panthers defense holding San Francisco under 17 by any stretch of the imagination. We saw the 49ers. They hit Stafford 17 times yesterday. They sacked him 7 times. Baker Mayfield might as well just stand back there with a sign saying, "Hit me," kind of like Rocky in high school. The bottom line is Carolina's in trouble. The 49ers win this one easily and walk away with a road win and first place in the NFC West.
1-26 is so crazy if you think about that stat. That's almost impossible.
That on Twitter. Rock, what you got?
Well, first of all, people in high school called me Wile E. Coyote for that same reason. But I got 3 words for you guys. 49ers, and it's not even close. And you know what? Guess what I did this last week?
Oh, no one ever wins this.
Apparently not. Apparently you didn't learn how to count to 3.
Well,
what did you do last week,
tried.
Rock?
Well,
I'll bite.
I did something crazy. I just did whatever Mason Foles was doing. The guy is 21-5 in his last 26 free bets. He's got a better winning percentage than Tim Donaghy. It's a great pick. Look for Mason Foles. Use the discount code. Get some picks from Mason Foles before he gets too famous for his own good. And with that, we'll take a break. Hello? Is this a porpoise-driven life, the interactive dolphin experience? Great. Well, I'm interested in swimming with the dolphins. And which dolphins do I get to swim with? Skipper, Dolly, and Bottlenose Bill. I don't know them. Are they on the practice squad, maybe? I see. Okay, and how much is it? Wow, that's more than I figured. And are all the teams the same price? I mean, like, would it be cheaper to swim with the Texans or the Raiders? Well, maybe you're wasting my time. Did you ever think of that? Okay, look, I'll call you back. I'm getting a call right now from Chubby O'Dude Ranch. Maybe I'll just be a cowboy for a week. Giddy up, Jerry Jones. Giddy up, Jerry Jones. Wow, what commercials. Welcome back. I'm Rocky Foré here with Steamroller. We got Chris King on the show, Scott Reichel. We're having a good time. We're going to finish it up with some games. All right, Steen, lead us in. What we got next?
How about some Eagles and Cardinals? A battle of the old NFC East, as the Cardinals were inexplicably in the East for many, many years, even after they moved to Arizona. So, Eagles on the road heading to Tempe, right? Is that there where...
Glendale.
Glendale is where the Phoenix University Stadium is. Very good.
Eagles it's also where the Topgolf is.
Solid, Rock. Solid. Eagles 5-point favorites on the road. 49.5 is the number. Hey, Cards fans, guess what? Jalen Hurts is the quarterback that you thought Kyler Murray was. Sorry to break it to you. Philadelphia, they are absolutely running roughshod through the NFC and the NFL right now. They are second in scoring margin to Buffalo. Hurts threw a pick 6 against Jacksonville. Didn't care. This Philadelphia defense is solid. They have given up just 29 points in their last 3 games. Sorry, Cardinals, you're not good. You know who is? The Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Give me Philadelphia minus the fever.
Yeah, I agree. Arizona's 0-2 at home, so they've randomly been better on the road than at home. But I am going to look towards the under in this game as well. I think this number's just too high because of the fact the Eagles' defense is so good. I think Murray's going to run for his life the entire game, and the offense has not been good anyway, even when he has not been pressured the entire time. But if you want to look at Arizona's defense, they randomly became decent after the first quarter against the Rams. And I do think that for the last 6 quarters, they've looked pretty good. And this number's a little bit too high. Philly's offense is still solid, but I do think that they're going to have to do a ton of the heavy lifting here for this game to go over. I don't see this game getting into the 50s. I think Arizona might struggle to reach 20. I'm going to take an under as well, but I do like Philly.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Philadelphia. We talked about how Philadelphia ran the ball down Jacksonville's throat. Jacksonville was in the top 5 in the league and defending the run in the first 3 weeks of the season. The Cardinals, not so good. We don't know if A.J. Green's going to play. They still don't have DeAndre Hopkins. When your top receiving option outside of Hollywood Brown and Zach Ertz is Greg Dortch. Rocky, do you know who Greg Dortch is?
I love Greg Dortch. I did a prop about him last week.
Good for you. Bottom line is, like both Steehn and Reichel said, Kyler Murray's going to run for his life. They can't stop Philadelphia's offense. The Eagles win this one easily to go to 5-0.
I keep thinking that the Cardinals are going to turn it around at a certain point, but they have not had like a dominant game so far this year, even when they have won. I thought they could do it against the Panthers, but once again, Call of Duty. But no double XP this weekend. I'm still going the Eagles.
All right, and there's our weekly Call of Duty cap via Rocky about Kyler Murray. So if you come here for that, I know there's probably like 50 people watching that tune in just for that. So congratulations, you.
Just to see if there's a double XP weekend.
Well, when the season started, everybody said, well, these two teams will certainly be in the playoffs now. Probably, but we're not certain. It's the Cowboys at the Rams. Rams, the home team, 4-point favorites, 43.5 is your number. Well, the Rams, they did well against Atlanta, but they've played the top 2 scoring defenses in the NFL so far this season in Buffalo and San Francisco. It did not go well as they put up just 19 points combined in those 2 games. And now, guess what? They get the 3rd best scoring defense in the Dallas Cowboys. You know what? Maybe Cooper Rush plummets back to earth, but I think they've designed a pretty good offense for him. He's playing within himself, as they like to say. I think the boys are probably going to have a little something for the Rams. It's a dog week for me, kids. I've got another road dog right here. Give me the Cowboys plus the 4.
Yeah, this line looks extremely weird because you thought that after the massacre on Monday Night Football, this line would be closer. I am going to lean to Dallas, though. I do think that they have really just excelled in the defensive end. And Cooper Rush, not too shabby. So I do think they can hang around. I also like the under in this game. You're looking at the Cowboys, as Steehn said before, top 3 scoring defense. We know that they can pressure the quarterback with Parsons and with Lawrence. The Rams can't block. So I do think they're going to generate a lot of pressure. Also, besides Kupp, I think we can all agree Allen Robinson's washed, and they don't really have a number 2 wide receiver. Exactly. I can't see him anywhere.
Does he play for the Rams?
The Cowboys have weapons. The secondary for the Rams has been a bit underwhelming this year with Ramsey and with Kendrick. I'm going to go with the Cowboys as well, but I also like the under. I just think that the Cowboys defense will do what it does, which is pressure the quarterback, and the Cowboys also kick a bunch of field goals, which is a bit of a problem with the red zone offense. Give me the under and give me Dallas, maybe outright, to get the job done.
Yeah, I think you have to lean towards Dallas here, like we just said. You know, Stafford got sacked 7 times, hit 17. Now he's got to face Micah Parsons and company with a beat-up offensive line. They were down to their 3rd-string center yesterday. Outside of Cooper Kupp, don't forget Tyler Higbee. He did catch 10 balls yesterday for the Rams. But yeah, they don't really have another outside threat with
like
Van Jefferson.
45 yards or something?
Hey, if he went over 4.5 receptions, and that's all that mattered to me. But, you know, I don't trust Skowronek on the outside. The Rams have issues. Now, granted, watch out because Noah Brown is dealing with a neck injury, so he's questionable as of right now. So, again, check the injury report. Jerry Jones has not ruled out Dak Prescott for Sunday as of yet. So keep that in mind, too, because you could see the line shift if all of a sudden Prescott plays. So if you're backing the Cowboys like we are, I would jump on it now and get the points.
31 teams, their coach would make that announcement. Cowboys, Jerry Jones.
Do you want Mike McCarthy to make an announcement for you?
I don't care.
For the record, I don't think Dak is going to play.
I don't either.
Nah.
Rocky?
Yeah, Matt Stafford is just Kirk Cousins with a good head coach. But even then, saying that, it seems perfect This is not a primetime game. It's a Sunday afternoon. Matt Stafford will be fine even against Micah Parsons. I'm going the Rams, but I'm going the under. I see this as a 28, 14, 13 kind of game.
All right, very good. And two of the better teams in the AFC is what they keep telling us, is the Bengals headed to Charm City to take on the Ravens. Baltimore, 3-point home favorites, 48.5 is the number. Guys, the Bengals offense still isn't hitting on all cylinders despite picking up the win against their first win of the season against Miami. The protection, well, it's been better, but still not ideal. But Baltimore, surprisingly, not really getting up to the quarterback, just 17th in sacks so far this season. Cincinnati defense, not great, but they don't give up a lot on the ground, and that's what you look for in a matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. They average, they're fourth in the league, giving up just 85.8 yards per game as far as the rush goes. This is a close one for me, but I think the Bengals keep it within striking distance. Again, this is certainly going to end well for me. I'll take another road dog. Give me Cincinnati +3.
I agree. I'm going to go Cincinnati here, especially getting the field goal. I think that the Bengals are going to potentially win the game outright because the Ravens secondary has been a mess, mostly because of injuries. I know Humphrey is there. Peters is there in spirit. I don't know if he's there mentally every play because he gets burned at least 1 or 2 times a game. But you're looking at Chase. You're looking at Higgins. They got a lot of weapons. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I like to fade teams off Monday night. And I like to back teams that play on Thursday because you have extra time to prepare. The Bengals played Thursday. They had extra time to get ready. And the Ravens, I've defended Harbaugh for a long time. They lose every close game. Have you noticed that for the last couple of years? It seems like every single decision they go for at the end of games backfires on them. I like Burrow. I think the offensive line has gotten better. But I mostly like the fact that Cincinnati can stop the run, and the secondary has held its own to some degree. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I think that getting 3 is definitely a good deal. That's my pick.
Yeah, I've got to go with Cincinnati. You look at the numbers here. Baltimore has blown 17-point or greater leads in both their home games this season. Last team to do that was the Vikings in 2013. It's not a great stat to look at, and everybody's going to say, well, what about the weather? Well, everybody that's on the field had to play in that weather. Nobody but John Harbaugh made the stupid decision to try and go for it on 4th and goal at the 2. That's your own damn fault. Now you got to play Cincinnati. Baltimore is the worst team in the league in pass defense. You got to deal with, like Reichel said, Higgins and Chase and Tyler Boyd and Hayden Hurst down the seam at tight end. Joe Mixon can run. The biggest problem is, will Cincinnati be able to pass block? It might not matter with the way the Ravens have rushed the passer. I'll take the points in Cincinnati.
I'm going against all of you this time. I'm going with the Ravens with the over. Ravens have a terrible defense. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I just haven't seen much from the Bengals to prove that they could outdo this Ravens offense, that everything backfires on them. I think they haven't proven it. And until then, I don't think the Ravens will need to go for it on 4th and goal this time.
All right. Very
They'll
good.
have scored on 3rd and goal.
And let's finish up right down the road from me in a game that I might actually be at. I haven't decided yet, but I do have a ticket if I want to go. It's Monday Night Football. It's the Chiefs. It's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. Chiefs, 7-point favorites. 51 is your total. A couple weeks ago in this space, I talked about being careful of the Chiefs and the Indianapolis Colts. It just looked like one of those games. The Chiefs do it at least 2 or 3 times a year where they just play flat the entire game. Nothing goes right, and they either lose or win a close one and don't cover the spread. That's exactly what happened with the Colts. You know when it doesn't happen? It doesn't happen at home, and it doesn't happen against the Raiders. Chiefs still salty about Gruden driving the buses around Arrowhead after they won a couple seasons back. Nobody has to worry about getting up for this one. Chiefs get an extra day to prepare. I think they win this one by double digits. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs. They're rolling. They're back, baby. The Raiders, not so much. Give me the Chiefs -7.
I'm taking the Chiefs as well. I feel like I can't avoid it. The Chiefs dominate this team. They have for the last couple of years. Well, they went each of the last 4 meetings by double digits or something like that. They've dominated. The way that I look at it, congrats to the Raiders. You won a game. I'm proud of you. But now you're traveling to Arrowhead, which is never a fun time. And the Chiefs' passing game, I think, is good enough to exploit this really underwhelming Raiders secondary. And the offensive line for Kansas City, been pretty decent so far this season, which has been a nice surprise. But the defense is younger. It's more, actually, I'd say just athletic. I think they'll be able to force the Raiders into a lot of field goals because it seems like the Raiders kick a lot of field goals in the red zone. You can't trade field goals for touchdowns against Kansas City. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Kansas City's won 13 of the last 15 meetings between these teams. Last year, they outscored them in the 2 games 89-23. Yeah, the Raiders, sure, they beat Denver last week, but Denver is a team that's, A, still finding their way offensively, B, they're dealing with issues defensively. On the plus side, if you play fantasy football, I'm sure Devontae Adams will have a big game because he'll have 100 and some yards, but that's just because the Raiders are going to have to throw every down. I don't see them hanging close in this one. I think Kansas City should win by double digits, especially playing at Arrowhead. Hasn't been the greatest venue for the Raiders in recent years. I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I start watching and then I just go see Smile in theaters because it'll be 14-0 within 3 minutes. And I got the Chiefs. I'm going with the under, though. I don't think the Raiders are going to score enough points. There you have it. And I will say this. I'll add this to my Rockies proppies. I will be turning off the game at the beginning of the second quarter, and it won't even matter.
Over-under on Rocky no longer watching, 15 minutes. Very good. All right, that's going to do it, guys. That's week 5 in the can. We had a great time. Love having these panelists on. Chris, thanks very much for joining us. Where can we find you, buddy?
Well, you can find me by myself now because the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future have all been canned from the show. So it's just me now on Just Parlays, Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Winners and Winers Network. You can also find all the games that I cover on winnersandwiners.com or on Twitter at Betting Royalty.
All right, very good. Just because you give him only 20 seconds for a plug doesn't mean he can't be bitter. All right, very good. Reichel, where can we find you besides Brooklyn?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. Besides that, still doing my daily free picks. Been doing very well recently, so check those out. Free, usually post at like 4 a.m., the early bird special. Besides that, still doing a bunch of podcasts. I link all those in my Twitter, but you can find me there. And if you want to interact, send me questions on games, you can hit me up there.
Very good. Rock, I understand you've got some social media. Where can we find you, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I made a Twitter account. I am at Rocky Foré. There's no accento. So it's just Rocky 4, but spelled like golf 4.
Just like the movie.
It's not like the movie. It's not like the movie, Steehn.
Sorry, man. By the way, that's a little bit of a sore spot with Rocky. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. All right. Thanks very much again, guys. Of course, you can find me over on Twitter at Steehn Steehn Roller. Hey, it says it right down there. There you go. And, of course, you can catch me over at the Winners and Winers YouTube page doing daily free plays. We have been crushing it lately, so make sure you check that out. I've been crushing it on the premium side as well. If you want my premium picks, you can check them out at the Winners and Winers Experts tab, winnersandwiners.com under Experts. And, of course, you can use the link that we put in the show description along with the code LV50 off. That is FIFTY. Make sure you spell out 50, and that will give you, 20% off? No, 50% off. It says it right in the name. Come on. Give you 50% off my premium plays, Chris's premium plays, anybody's premium plays that you might be looking for. So, as for me, I'm out. You guys, thanks for joining us. Had a great time. And everybody watching, we appreciate you more than we can say. Make sure you drop us a comment. Could be worth $100 as we'll do a drawing next Thursday. For everybody that drops us a comment will be entered. All right. Everyone have a great week. Good luck on all your plays. And I'll see you later. But I think first, Rocky's going to take us out of here. Take care, everybody.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Well, subscribe first and then go home. Go home.